Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump will sit down in Alaska for the first US-Russian presidential summit in 4 years. But Volodymyr Zelensky isn't invited.
There'll be some swapping, there'll be some changes in land. We're going to change the lines, the battle lines.
It's a real coup for Putin. Normalization talks without ending his war. And with Washington floating land swaps, trading Ukrainian territory for peace, that horrify Ukrainians.
Now, just down the road is the Donetsk fortress, Kramatorsk-Pakrovsk, the heart of the Ukrainian defense. I've been talking to the soldiers there, and they're unified in telling me that they're against the idea of such a territorial concession. They say they've seen it before. Why give Russia the opportunity to fight again, and even further into Ukraine, they say?
Throughout July, secret talks between Ukraine and Russia explored a two-stage plan. First a ceasefire, then a broader freezing of the conflict. They'd made significant progress, reaching provisional understandings on issues like ending the fighting on the current front lines and capping the size of their armies at symbolic levels, not far below the current ones. It was provisionally agreed that Ukraine would not be able to join NATO, although it could seek membership of the European Union. At one point, Donald Trump appeared to lose patience with Vladimir Putin's delays.
We're very, very unhappy with him, and we're going to be doing very severe tariffs if we don't have a deal in 50 days.
None of that happened. Instead, he granted Putin an audience in Alaska. Now, Trump says he's seen enough to convince him that a deal can be struck. The question is, what kind of a deal?
My understanding is that certainly a normalization of business relations with Russia, that's entirely possible. There's talk of new opportunities for US companies in the Arctic, the resurrection even of the idea of a tunnel underneath the Bay of Bering Straits between Alaska and Russia. The peace process, that might be harder to deliver.
In early August, Trump's envoy Steve Witkoff returned from Moscow with a destabilizing new Russian proposal. Putin would stop the fighting, but only if Ukraine voluntarily retreated from Donbass. Somehow, what began as talks over recognizing existing Russian gains has shifted to talk of handing Moscow more. Ukraine's position is clearer. A full ceasefire must come before any discussion of conceding territory. The worry is anything else would open a Pandora's box. But American officials are pressing Ukraine to make a counteroffer, including forfeiting some of its own land.
President Zelensky faces a very tough job, reconciling these very emotional soldiers and his people on the one side with the ever-changing wish list of an American administration that, frankly, doesn't really know much about the Ukrainian cities. It is more than prepared to trade away.